Grumpy's not sleepy. Deep in the forest, inside a small cottage, Snow White and the 7 dwarfs were finishing their supper. Now everyone, put your dishes in the tub, Snow White instructed. Clickety-clack, went the dishes as one by one the dwarfs placed them in the wooden washing tub. Clickety-clack, achoo! Bless you, Sneezy, Snow White said. That wasn't me, Sneezy said. And who is it? Snow White asked. It was me, achoo! Me, achoo! Grumpy grumbled through a chorus of sneezes. Snow White put a hand to Grumpy's forehead. Oh dear, she said. You're quite warm. Up to bed with you right now. Snow White and the dwarfs marched Grumpy upstairs and tucked him into bed. Get some sleep, Grumpy, she said. It'll make you feel better. This is achoo! Ridiculous, Grumpy said. I am not sick. Achoo! Achoo! And I have some things to do. Do you think that pipe organ is going to achoo! Clean itself? We'll clean it for you, Happy offered. The other dwarfs nodded in agreement. You won't do it right, Grumpy said, trying to get out of bed. I'm sure you'll do a fine job, Snow White said. Now, how about a nice song to help you sleep? Snow White tucked Grumpy back into bed and began to sing softly to him. La, 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 la. Soon his eyes began to close. He was almost asleep when toot, toot, toot. The loud sound came from downstairs. Grumpy's eyes flew open. My pipe organ, he shouted. I knew they'd mess it up. Snow White hurried downstairs. You're making too much noise, she told the dwarfs. But it's a pipe organ, Sleepy pointed out. We can't clean it without making any noise. I know, Doc said. We can pipe the stuff. Stuff the pipes. Now that's a swell idea, Happy agreed. Dopey, grab some socks. And there's the socks. While Snow White went back up to check on Grumpy, Dopey picked up some socks from the laundry pile. The dwarfs rolled them down into balls and stuffed them into the organ pipes. Then Doc ran over the keys. Pop, pop, pop rolled up the socks, flew up of the organ pipes. Bang, bang, bang. The socks hit the hanging pots and pans. Toot, 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 the organ sang. I heard that, Grumpy yelled from upstairs. How do you expect me to sleep with all that racket? Achoo! No, I went back downstairs to see the dwarfs. Maybe cleaning the pipe organ will wait until after Grumpy's rested, she said. Ed, why don't you pick us up a book to read? That's a nice quiet thing to do. Now that's a good idea, Doc said. The dwarfs hurried to the bookshelf. I like to read the book about trees, Bashful said shyly. I want the story about treasure. Achoo! Sneezy said, standing on his tiptoes to reach over Bashful. I'll take the book about birds, Happy said, reaching over Sneezy. Sleepy reached over Happy. I like that book of bedtime stories. Doc reached over to Sleepy. Dopey and I will read the... Doc tripped and fell onto Sleepy, who crashed into Happy, who knocked into Sleazy and Bashful, who fell into the bookshelf. The books fell to the floor with a crash. I heard that, Grumpy yelled downstairs. Oh dear, Snow White said. Perhaps you should go outside so poor Grumpy can get some sleep. Snow White shooed the dwarves into the yard, then went upstairs to check on Grumpy. He should go outside, don't you think? What do we do now? Happy asked. Maybe we could find a way to help Snow White, Bashful suggested shyly. A fine idea, Doc said, looking around. These windows look like they could use some washing. The dwarves got to work. Dopey fetched water down from the stream. Happy and Sleepy got the ladder. Bashful got some rags. Then Sneezy climbed the ladder, holding the bucket and the rags. All right now, Sneezy, Doc called up. Start scrubbing. Doc, Bashful said quietly, are you sure it's a good idea to send Sneezy up there? He'll be fine, Doc said. What could go wrong? Achoo! Sneezy let out a great big sneeze and fell off the ladder, right into Happy's and Sleepy's waiting arms. The ladder crashed into the laundry line, and the clean laundry fell into the mud. The water bucket landed on a basket of potatoes, which spilled on the ground as the dwarves tried to get out of the way. They tripped and fell over the potatoes. I heard that, Grumpy yelled from his bed. That didn't work either. Snow White came outside. I suppose it's no use asking you to be quiet anymore, she said. But please clean up this mess. The dwarfs nodded. While Snow White went in to take care of Grumpy, they got to work. They re-washed the laundry and hung it out to dry. They picked up the potatoes. They fixed the ladder and the bucket. Soon they were all yawning. All this work is making me sleepy, Sleepy said. Me too, agreed Doc. Bashful, Happy, and Sneezing Dopey nodded. I think you could all use a nice nap, Snow White said, walking outside again. The dwarves didn't argue. They marched upstairs and Snow White tucked them into their beds. Soon, they were all snoring peacefully, even Grumpy. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.